Hello and welcome to A Star to Steer Her By, a Star Trek podcast. My name is Caitlin, and joining me today are...
Jake.
Chris.
And Ames.
And we're here today for episode 211.
Woo!
What? And today, we're back... We're talking about Deep Space Nine episodes You Are Cordially Invited and Resurrection. So, in You Are Cordially Invited, if you can't tell from the title,
Party time.
Yeah, it's time for Worf and Jadzia to tie the knot. They decide kind of last minute. Oh, it's because of Alexander. Alexander's like, I'm shipping off to a new ship. Shipping off to a new ship. That's redundant. Anyway, I'm leaving on a
jet plane. Don't know if I'll be back again.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not. So... But yeah, Alexander's like, I'm going to be on a new ship, and everybody finds my being a bitch really charming, because apparently I'm such a mess that everybody else is doing great, and that's good luck. I don't know. Fine. So he's leaving, and Jadzia's like, what about if we move up the wedding? And Worf's like, I don't know. And Jadzia's like, well, we're doing it, so fuck you and what you want. And Quark's like, what? You want to have it in Quark's bar? And they're like, yes.
That's where the root beer is.
Yep. But before they can get married, Quark has to drag all of his best friends through 4 days of hell.
Worf.
What did I say?
Quark.
Yeah, not Quark. Nope. Worf has to drag all of his best friends through 4 days of hell.
If it were Quark, I would definitely want to be involved in that one.
Well, he gets to be involved in some of the other hell. And Jadzia has her own personal hell because she has to hang out as a aspiring member of the House of Martok, has to spend 4 days kissing the ass of Martok's wife, the Lady Sorella, who, as a side note, is like the most magnificent creature we've ever seen ever. She's like tall and stately and gorgeous, and what a fucking ice queen, and Martok is so there for it. It's great. But yeah, basically, Sorella is like, I don't really like Worf, and I definitely don't like Jadzia. I can't believe you're letting an alien into our house. And she's really hard, really, really hard on Jadzia the entire time. But obviously, Jadzia perseveres. However, the wedding is almost off at one point because Jadzia throws herself like a proper, well, maybe not herself. Somebody throws a bachelorette party.
Raven.
And it is we're going to have a fucking rager. And it's awesome. They have like fucking The Rock is visiting as Maui to do some fire dancing. What can he say but you're welcome? And like, as a side note, Lita is like weirdly into it, and I just want to like slap her and be like, stop making a fool of yourself at the bachelorette party in front of your fucking husband, but whatever.
She's already married to Rom. How much more fool of herself can she make?
That's true. Listen, that's what I'm saying. I was looking out for her. So, but of course, Martok's wife shows up in the middle of it and is like, come make me some tea or some bullshit. And Jadzia is like, suck my dick. This is my party. And then she like punches her in the face. And Sorella's like, well, that's it. You're not joining my family.
Sorella did draw a knife first.
That's true. She did. And fine. She can.
And I think it's suck my pouch.
Yikes, eat my shorts. Jadzia wakes up the next day, she's hungover as fuck, and she hears voices, and the reason why she hears voices is because Odo and Kira, after like Odo comically like woo, 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 out of frame a few times earlier in the episode, they're finally going to talk about, feelings and what happened. And we're going to throw all that out the window next episode, but let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Aww.
So, but he wasn't in that episode at all, which is good. Because, god damn it, how much more could he take? Anyhow, so Jadzia is hung over as fuck the next day, and Worf's like, you're a party bitch, we're not getting married. And she's like, the fuck? Meanwhile, oh boy, the bachelor party was not what anyone expected. They're like staying up for 4 days, turning up the heat.
How could you not expect that?
Seriously.
Because he said it's kind of like a bachelor party. Like, Worf has a sick sense of humor.
Don't believe Worf.
There's no food, there's no drink, they're doing hot yoga, and I don't even know, the airing of grievances, they have to, it sounds like Festivus in hell.
It sounds like a Survivor tournament.
Yeah, except somehow worse. And at one point, like, I don't know, O'Brien and Bashir are like doing pull-ups while cursing his name. They're just hanging out for hours. I don't know what the fuck the point of that was. Actually, I do. We kind of get a little payoff. At any rate, that sounds great and everything. Martok goes and talks to Worf and is like, listen, my wife, she's not perfect. And Jadzia, she's not perfect, but maybe go fix it. And Worf's like, all right. And he tries, but she's like, nah. And then Ben is like, let me go talk to her. And he's like, old man, stop. Just get married. And she's like, all right, Ben, you're right. And so the wedding's back on. And I guess Sorella decides she's fine with it. I don't really feel like we see that happen.
Yeah,
Am I wrong?
I have thoughts. We'll get to it.
Yeah,
it just kind of happens in the background, which is surprising because you think, like, the ability for them to get married seems to rest on her being like, okay, you can come join our house. And the last thing that we see is her being really pissed because she got punched in the face. But she shows up and gives her blessing at the end, so happy ending, I guess.
Yeah, it does feel like there's a scene missing.
See, what happens, I think that's the end of the synopsis, because
that's basically it, yeah. Happy. They get married, it's the end.
Yeah, Sisko tells Jadzia, go grovel to Sorella, because that's going to get you back in the house, and, you know, you really want to get married, and all this thing. So the assumption is Jadzia probably just went, did the groveling, did the boot licking, and got back in good graces with Sorella, and then Sorella accepted it. Which I think is actual bullshit.
Yeah, no, it's totally out of character. She wouldn't. Yeah, it was game over. There was no coming back.
Unless Sorella was putting on an act herself the whole time.
Klingons are not that good of actors. Maybe. Just saying.
Yeah, because the issue I have with it is, if the answer is go grovel to Sorella and be a little bitch, where's the honor in that? Why would she accept you then? I think what really should have happened was, so Jadzia discovers somewhere in the episode that Sorella's house is actually, you know, built on lies because, like, the actual Empress and the whole, like, royal family was killed a while back and replaced with other people, and then they kind of took the role. And Sorella's actually descendant of those jerks. So I think Jadzia should have just blackmailed her.
Well, and maybe that is what she did. I totally forgot about that. That's important, when they're going through the history.
Yeah, and then
she had to, like, memorize the House of Martok's whole lineage, and is like, oh, by the way, it looks like the line actually ended at, like, your 23 generations ago, but
that's still
you pretending otherwise.
In charge, but
yeah, so maybe that is what happened. Maybe we just missed a really good blackmail scene.
Maybe that's why they didn't include it. They were just like, we'll let the audience decide how it worked.
No, I give Ronald more and more credit. If that was what he had planned, he would have at least insinuated it. But no, the insinuation is Jadzia, go grovel. Jadzia says, okay, Ben, but because, you know, I've known you for 100 years. And then suddenly they're married, so she must have done the groveling.
Don't you feel like if they had just moved that scene to after the party incident, it would have been better? Because then it would have been more like, hint, hint, she found out this bullshit and that's why it all happened. Because there's nothing about that scene that says it has to happen when it happened. Like, the bachelor party isn't, like, I don't even remember what day it was before the wedding, but I feel like Bashir and O'Brien were hanging out, literally, after that. So I feel like if they had just moved it, that could have been it. She could have been like, well, you know what I read up about your people, and then that would have been it. They would have had, like, an understanding look, and the wedding would have been back on.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that was as big of a deal.
The lineage thing?
Yeah, because I think really that was just showing that, you know, Jadzia was not intending to play the part of the, you know, the demure.
And that's fine.
Bride.
I like that about her, that she kind of, like, even though she's, you know, looking to be kind of involved in this house, that she's still her own person.
Right.
But yeah, just the weight of a discovery like that should have, I feel, impacted the rest of the episode more. But instead, nope, we're not going to talk about it. We're done.
I expect that you know, maybe, but at the same time,
why make it be that thing?
Yeah, so I don't know. I think that I don't know why they necessarily included it. I just think it was more example of Jadzia challenging Sorella.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that there's a good chance that Cirilla already knew about the lineage thing, and that just Jadzia bringing it up was more to challenge it. And that kind of goes back to what I wanted to bring up, which is, I don't know, my opinion of the whole thing is that all of these little challenges and hold the buckets and have the right candles and come make me tea in the middle of your bachelorette party. Like, my opinion on all of that is that Cirilla was not testing that Dax would, lick the boot. Cirilla was testing and making sure that Jadzia was a true Klingon woman, because no Klingon woman would put up with that bullshit. They'd have knocked, they would have decked Cirilla from the start. So the fact that, Jadzia kind of humors her for a while, and then I think eventually just says, fuck this bitch, and it blows up at the party to where, it literally comes to blows. I think, if anything, that was the test, and Jadzia passed by standing up for herself. So
do you think she groveled to get the wedding back on, or what do you think happened then?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think she groveled. I don't think Jadzia grovels, period.
Yeah, no.
So I don't know what she did.
Because Ben told her to grovel.
Yeah, but I don't think Ben doesn't understand Klingon culture.
No.
As well as Jadzia does.
Even Picard.
And neither does Worf. You know what I mean? Like,
for that
you feel
matter,
like
true.
Worf was like, oh, you fucked up with my mother, sort of. So now everything's fucked. But like that, like you said, like that probably wasn't even the case. That probably was what had to happen.
Yeah, I'm guessing Jadzia went to Cirilla's quarters. They had a fight, a physical fight.
Oh man, I would love that.
And
did it end in sex?
Probably.
Please.
And then, and that was it. And she's like, yep, you're good. You're a badass bitch. Welcome to the family.
Man, see, I would love that resolution to the conflict, but we don't get to see it, so we're left assuming it was lame.
And you know what it feels like? It feels like a hearkening back to Boys, Jadzia, because it's fucking Ben being like, put aside your personal everything and go do what you have to do to make up with this woman for your fucking husband. I'm a little bothered by it. I wasn't, but now that I'm thinking about it, it's kind of pissing me off.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you.
So I much prefer Jake's version. She went, they fought, probably they had sex. She knows where both Klingon clitorises are.
And the pouch.
That's the thing. I was definitely waiting for like the fight to get bigger and turn out to be like, because the Klingons love beating the shit out of each other.
Yeah, I was surprised it ended when it did.
It's like a Klingon handshake.
It's like a Vulcan hello?
Well, at the same time, we're also used to seeing Klingon warriors. And
True.
I don't think that Cirilla is a Klingon warrior.
No.
I mean, she's clearly a Klingon high society lady.
Yeah, she's like a matriarch.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I kind of like what Ronald D. Moore did with this, because in the past, we haven't seen female-presenting Klingons do much. To be honest, like, and he says he regretted this whole time, like saying, they can't serve on the council, and not showing them as anything other than, we see some warrior Klingon ladies, and we see like a maid, and not much else. So he got to decide, you know what, I'm going to play with this and decide that they get to run all the affairs within the house, to give them something to do that isn't just dumb.
Yeah, it makes sense too. I feel like if your husbands are always off trying to murder each other, somebody's got to fucking run things. So
yeah, I kind of got that vibe from Grilka.
Yeah,
and it just feels so unspectacular for such incredible women, because like when you say the women take care of the house, kind of sounds a lot like
oh no,
housewives.
Well, no, but we're not talking.
No, I know. It just sounds.
We're talking taking care of the house. Capital H, like that means taking care of, the finances and
who gets in and who doesn't.
Yeah,
obviously,
and
with Jadzia.
Probably a certain amount, even if they can't be on the council. There's definitely at least some politicking happening.
Yeah, it's not just dressing up the White House at Christmas.
Yeah,
Ugh.
Yeah, exactly.
Klingons would do a better job at that.
Ooh.
I think in a way
Jake?
it's similar to the Roman system where. You would have these women who, Rome was 100% a patriarchal society. But the thing is, for, 3 months out of the year, most of the men would vanish to go campaigning and conquering. Not most of the men, but of the cast of men that would be generals and leading legions, they would just disappear for several months out of the year, leaving the houses to be watched over, and the finances and the politicking is now being done by the matriarchs. The women.
See, I was gonna say, I was sure there must be some sort of real world historical precedent, and there it is.
I like it.
Also, sorry, what?
She said I like it.
Oh.
Let's get back to the Klingon party.
Yeah, sorry.
Because I was into that party. That was a fun party that Dax threw.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I was like,
that was
what?
awesome.
Yeah, the Klingon party looked
was not awesome.
Oh, the bachelor party? No,
Worf probably was having a good time.
Yeah, well,
He seemed
and
to be.
Martok.
But, also, what a rat bastard. Yeah, it's a lot like a bachelor party, you fucking liar.
I don't know. I've been to a few bachelor parties, and I still think that Worf's is better than the ones I've been to.
Well, you've been to lousy bachelor parties.
I've been to really bad bachelor parties.
Wow.
Our friend Justice has been on the show a bunch. I liked his bachelor party. He had a good one because we all just went to an amusement park.
That's
That
Nice.
sounds awesome.
Yeah, much better than getting thrown out of Cheaters in Providence.
I don't want to know what that is.
It was funny that, Worf had the, let's be honest, when we as the audience heard he was doing some sort of ceremony that's sort of like a bachelor party, we knew, oh yeah, no, this is going to be some sort of tedious, awful Klingon ritual.
Oh
Like
god,
a
and they
bachelor
brought
party.
Alexander. They made the mistake of bringing this ninny kid.
He blew it almost immediately.
See, I'm the opposite way. I like this version. I wish he was sticking around now.
He's cartoonish to me, though. They
Yeah,
just decided,
he's
let's make him a doof, and I'm like, no.
He's definitely too much. I don't mind that he's a doof, but I do think it's maximum overdrive to the point of, like you said, cartoonishness, which I don't love.
Making him a klutz made him endearing to me, maybe because I'm a bit of a klutz.
Yeah, but that's not your only characteristic.
No, I know, but I also just really like the idea of I basically absorb all the bad luck, so we win. I also really did like the way the actor delivered. I can't even say my own name in Klingon.
That was good. That was a good one.
I do also like this Alexander, but I'm glad that he's not sticking around because I think he would be too much. He reminds me too much of almost what I didn't like about early Nog, I think. Or early Rom for that matter. And so I feel like I'm definitely better off without full-time Alexander.
He's very one-dimensional. There's just one note to him, which is, he's the doofy Klingon.
Alex the doofy Klingon
Man,
had a dishonorable house.
Like when he passed out in the holodeck and they're trying to wake him, he's like, Grandma?
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, it's a little insulting that they just let this asshole kid into Martok's house when Jadzia has to jump through 85 hoops just to be able to talk to the woman of the house.
Yeah. But, she is an alien, and Klingons are nothing if not racist as fuck.
Oh,
yeah, literally, Worf is like, hey, Martok, that's a really xenophobic view. And he's like, yup, we sure are Klingons.
Yeah, and I love it. It's like, yeah, hey, Worf, remember that time you let a Romulan die rather than give him a blood transfusion?
Yep. Worf still only refers to Quark as the Ferengi bartender.
Yeah.
He's never called him by name.
Although he has gone up in his estimation.
Has
Because
he?
I think in this, when he said, he barely tolerates him or something, which, is an improvement.
As opposed to not tolerating him at all?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably about as high on his list as he'll ever get, but it's something.
I feel like he should come around, though, because for better or worse, Quark is sort of one of Jadzia's friends.
Yeah.
Whoa, who was still carrying a torch. Did you guys notice that scene?
Yeah.
Where he was, randomly being weird about it again? It's like, bro.
We've already got this between Kira and Odo. We don't need more characters like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it would make some sort of sense that, even if you'd kind of given up seeing her marry someone, especially someone that you think is kind of a giant stick in the mud, is gonna stick in your craw a little.
Stick in the mud, sticking in your craw.
Yeah, that was a touch redundant.
Hey.
That's good. It's all good.
Yeah, but speaking of Kira and Odo, I'm going to move on to them a little bit because...
Oh, yeah. Let's do that.
Because, boy, that was rushed.
Yeah. It was so weird that, They just decided, like, hey, Renee, could you do, like, the world's biggest comedy turn when you see Kira? Like, I said, I think Caleb and I said in the intro, but when we were watching it, I was like, they might as well put over the Zoidberg, like, as he ran off.
Well, I did do that, but I was thinking more like the Stooges, where that originates from.
Well,
but,
yes,
whatever.
But Zoidberg perfected it.
Why not Zoidberg?
But yeah, so I did read that originally they wanted the Odo thing to be, since, he basically was a jerk about the whole...
Oh, he was the worst.
Not oppression, the whole Dominion... What word am I fucking looking for?
Occupation.
That he would just decide, okay, nobody likes me anymore. I don't want to, I can't fix it. I'm just going to bop into this party, tell everyone, you don't have to be my friend anymore. I'm just going to do my job, and you don't have to think about me anymore, and you don't have to be my friend, and that's okay. And then for the rest of however long in the series, they would just deal with Odo kind of being singular. But the writers decided they didn't like that, so they just said, okay, how do we fix it? We don't have time. They just do it off screen.
And then they were up all night chatting, and then they went to work the next day. That's crazy.
Late.
Yeah.
Still unlike Odo. Still doesn't know what time it is.
Yeah, how did no one, I get Kira didn't have her badge, but he had his. How did no one call him?
Oh, they know better.
Maybe one's talking to him.
At this point, though, where he's, basically vanished for 3 days to fuck the changeling, they're used to him not showing up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still wanted to actually have a scene with Kira and Odo actually mending things.
Yeah, really, it's the episode of missing scenes.
A little bit.
That's true.
I think the problem is, that needs more than a scene. That needs a full episode, almost.
At least.
Maybe.
And I think the issue, and I understand, is, after the past 6 weeks, they wanted to just have some fun. They wanted to let a pressure valve off. But unfortunately, instead of just therefore saving the,
important stuff,
they just kind of we'll acknowledge it happened without showing it.
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause I can't remember exactly what happens, but I do feel like the Odo Kira stuff is never really going to be addressed now.
Man, that's a shame.
And it's just sort of oh, now they're good. They're buddy again.
Yeah.
I wonder what they were talking about.
In his defense, he was being manipulated, and I sort of think of what he was going through as being a drug addict. I feel obviously he's not being excused for not having any responsibility, because obviously he made choices that led there, but I also think that past a certain point, you don't necessarily have a lot of control over certain things, and you're not really being yourself. He didn't even realize he'd been in the room for 3 days. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that, again, I'm not excusing it. I just think it was highly irregular and definitely not something he was ready for or, used to. And I don't know.
I wonder if he ever apologizes to Rom for almost getting him executed.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
Seriously.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
No one would.
Maybe. I can't see him apologizing to Quark, but maybe Rom.
I'd be the opposite. I still don't like Rom that much.
Well, no, see, him and
he's
Quark...
just so annoying.
You understand, his and
he's
Quark's...
married to fucking Lita, who's the most annoying character on the show, aside from Rom.
But see, Odo and Quark's love is the kind where, the apology is spoken in different ways.
True. Well, love is never having to say you're sorry. Just total bullshit, by the way.
Yeah, no, it is. Fuck that movie.
Wait, what movie is that from?
Love Story.
What's Love Story?
It's a terrible 70s rom-com. It pretty much established a lot of the modern bad rom-com tropes.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't realize it was from a movie.
Is it a rom-com? It's a romantic drama, I guess, technically.
Rom.
Yeah, it's
Rom-drom.
Either way, it's terrible.
Speaking of Rom.
It's a drama-rama.
Yes, Rom. Was Rom in this much? Not much.
I don't remember,
He was at the
but
party.
He was there
Was he?
watching
Okay.
Lita ogle the fucking fire dancer.
Brilliant.
Okay, here's the thing, though, right?
No, what?
it is culturally accepted, or at least definitely was then. Maybe now it's a little more equal, but like that men get to, go to bachelor parties and window shop all they want, and we're just supposed to be okay with it. If they want to do the reverse with women, that's fine. That is equality.
Oh, is that their full statement?
Is that it?
Yeah, I don't care that she's ogling the Polynesian chap, because, again, we're all okay with the idea of, maybe we aren't as individuals, but
He says we are.
Societally in the 90s, it was like, yeah, of course, bachelor party, go to a strip club, fine. It's in the future, everything is equal. Women ogle people at their bachelorette parties.
Lita looked like she was going to eat him. There's a big difference between ogling and, I don't know. I feel
Salivating.
But then again,
yeah.
But here's the thing is, everything with Lita is overdone, because she's another fucking caricature, cartoony character that I don't care for. So I think that's why it annoyed me so much. So, whatever.
Well, you know what it is? They're actually really into three-ways, but she's the one that has to do the pitch because Rom's bad at it.
Well, Rom could barely ask her to marry him. Imagine him trying to, strike up a three-way. He probably is really bad at even getting her to have sex. But she always, maybe she always initiates for that reason.
I don't know. I don't want to think about any of this.
No, same.
Sorry.
But speaking of people that hooked up this episode, so the fire dancer and Morn woke up next to each
Yes, that's
other
what
on
I
the
said.
floor.
Oh, man. After we saw Morn have an awesome little mini scenelet with a bolian in which they were just kind of having fun together.
Chest bumping and shit.
Yep.
Yeah,
but
I love them.
His shirt was open. We saw Morn nipples. I was not okay.
Oh, I missed that.
Morn chesticles.
Yeah, and then Morn plus Katoa was also great. Yeah, Morn is like the breakout star of this show. Oh, sorry,
Wait,
not
was
Katoa?
Katoa?
Atoa.
Was that the name of the fire dancer?
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
He
I
would
missed
be
that.
if he would not be so fucking chatty. Morn.
Hey.
It was completely out of nowhere, but it was nice to see that culture represented, because I don't think it ever really has been on Star Trek.
Yeah,
Which
we now know that
Polynesian?
Earth is not a monoculture by the 24th century like every other
Yes.
planet.
Well, here's the thing, though. I'm not sure if I think it was nice to see it represented, if only because it was kind of being done in a very, at least based on Lita, kind of a really sexualized way.
Suppose
Kind
that's
of
true.
again, I don't have any problem with the culture being represented, but it was kind of being represented as something for, being showy at a party. I don't know. It's that to me is questionable. Again, Polynesian culture should definitely be, part of Star Trek, but it's kind of like how people were complaining about how Cyberpunk was kind of paying lip service to letting you create sort of trans characters, but then the only in-universe trans characters that you really saw were hyper-sexualized underwear models and shit.
Yeah. Well, it also doesn't help. There's been some blatantly transphobic statements from some of the devs.
Oh yeah, well they're all trash. I guess I'm just saying it's
Yeah.
I don't
see what you
know.
mean.
Anyway, not to oh boy. Sometimes I'm just too Somervillian. Not even from Somerville. Anyway. Sorry. Please leave it in because I think it's important to note, but I get it. So
Oh, I loved the little the couple of little scenes. There's one between Jake and Quark, and there's one between Jake and Kira where they're just kind of trying to imagine the how insane it must be at the Klingon bachelor
Use your
party.
imagination.
And then it cuts to the reality, and it's just a miserable thing.
Julian and O'Brien dangling from a pipe.
Yeah.
Yep, this is great.
I've seen my
to
future.
kill Worf.
I'm going to kill him.
Well, but what was nice is we get that great payoff because at the end of the wedding, they get to go and ceremonially attack the bride and groom,
I like
what
that.
happened to what the fuck's his name?
Kalis and
Thanks, Kalis
his
and
bride, whose name escapes me.
Kalar? No,
Kalar was...
a real people.
Yes.
Yes. But yeah, so as Chris pointed out while we were watching it, he's like, they're just hitting Worf. I'm like, yeah, it's payback time for that fucking the endless pull-up bar.
Yeah, no one
bullshit.
would dare to even touch Jadzia in that dress, because It had that
Yeah,
Yeah, it
traditional
even had
Klingon
the
boob window.
traditional Klingon
Yep.
boob window.
Hey.
Hey, Jinx.
I thought the same thing. That seems like, man, Klingons just love boob windows.
Yo, who doesn't?
They look weird.
What?
Yeah, boob windows are strange.
What? Whatever. I love them. I love them titties. Get it, Jadzia.
I mean, it's a nice dress, but it might have looked better either closed or just with a plunging neckline. Having just a boob window is bizarre.
No, see, I don't like the plunging neck. A neckline that goes down past the boobs, I think, just looks like you're just going to flap out of it.
No, that's true. Those don't look good. It should have just had a normal neckline then.
Yeah, there's a character.
But we have established though that
Yeah.
part of Klingon
Yeah.
female attire is the boob window.
No,
so
you're
it's
right.
Consistent.
It is. It's just, ugh.
Yeah, there's a character in Farscape that has the very, very plunging neckline, and her boobs are just always practically out. And it just makes you uncomfortable after a while.
Yeah, no, you're definitely
What
right
show?
there.
Farscape.
All right, add that to the list of must watch.
Oh, it already was.
No, seriously.
That's the
you
one with the
must
Muppets.
watch.
Oh yeah, well yeah, but now there's titties, so it's getting moved
but
up.
her
It's
but the
getting moved
thing
up.
is, like, they even work it into her character that, like,
she's
boobs,
constantly
boob sweat,
anxious
like,
that her tits are gonna fall out.
Well, no, like her boob sweat can, like, the scent of her boob sweat can, like, make men do things. Apparently,
What the fuck?
so she'll
weird
like
show.
touch her cleavage and then like touch a guy and
Rub it
he'll
all
be
over
under
their
her
face.
spell. It's a little weird.
Do
It's still
not
less-
motorboat her.
Still less weird than Lex.
God.
Yeah, still less weird than Lex, because Lex was just some weird sex thing.
Yeah. Shoot, I had a thought and it just imploded.
Too bad. I'm moving back to the bachelorette party a little bit.
Yeah, go
Because
for
I
it.
wanted to talk about how adorable Nog is. He has
Oh, yeah.
he has
his
no
dancing.
lines. He has no lines the whole party, and the director just told him, "All right, Aaron, we're just gonna have you do some dancing, and then we're gonna move over here and continue the scene." And Aaron says, "Oh God, what kind of dancing should I do?" And he just decides with Nana Visitor, "I'm just gonna do this," and he just does all these like weird little Klingon, little Ferengi movements. And Nana says, "Yeah, do that." And then Jadzia joins in later, and that was not
Yeah.
in the
It
fucking
was so
script.
cute.
Nice.
I loved it.
I loved it.
You
It
know
was
what the-
really,
yeah.
really cute.
The most popular party dance song on Ferenginar is
Is it Thriller?
it's the Electric Whip.
Ah.
Crack that whip.
Wait, is that a real song?
No, the Electric Slide is a real song.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I guess I thought that's what you were going for, but
Oh,
then I was
no,
thinking
that's-
of like Whip It or whatever.
Yeah,
They
I
combined
got
the
it.
two.
There we go.
All right.
But yeah, I remember I watched, there was a YouTube video of the Ferengi Family Hour at a convention. And just Aaron Eisenberg, like, held it together. Like, he had all the improv skills.
Nice.
And when it was very clear that Max
sorry.
Grodenchik and Chase Masterson were like, "We don't know what to say now. We're not the best improvisers," Aaron would just jump in and be like, "All right, here we go."
That's good. Improvisation is so fucking difficult. I'm mostly rubbish without a script, so I am always impressed by people who can just ad-lib effectively.
I'm really only good at musical improv. I'm not good at like traditional improv.
But yeah, Aaron Eisenberg was a treasure.
I know. Ugh. Rest in peace, Nog. You crazy little bastard. I am honestly shocked by how much I love the character now, because I really did not like him in the beginning, and now I'm like, every time he shows up, I'm just delighted.
Well, it's such a... Because they gave him, like, an arc.
Yeah.
Yeah?
A seasons-long
A
arc.
long
like,
arc, yeah.
And it's been really an interesting sort of thing, you know?
Yeah. I love it. Love him.
Oh, man, that's what I was thinking. You know who was thrilled more than anyone by the wedding getting moved up? Picard.
Oh yeah, he got.
Picard?
Yeah, I was thinking that, like, how, you know, one of the consequences of moving the wedding is that none of Worf's other friends
Aww.
Yep.
get to be there.
That is sad, though. I would have loved a couple of cameos.
But see, the thing is, like, again, the cameras would have been nice, but on the other hand, like, technically speaking, you know Picard would have been invited to the bachelor party.
Oh.
You know,
would
so
not have
he
enjoyed
probably
that.
got a communique from Worf, like, "Sir, we are changing plans, unfortunately." And Picard's like, "Oh, that's a shame, Mr. Worf." And then he gets off, he's like, "Oh, thank God. I don't have to go to that stew. He totally would have tapped me for it."
Hey, I bet he's already done a bunch for, like,
Oh,
other
yeah.
Klingons.
Yeah.
So he knows that the dangling you gotta do.
Oh, yeah.
Fast for 4 days, don't like it.
That's half the reason the torture that Gul Madred put him through wasn't as bad as it should have been.
That's true.
He's like, what? This is it? I've been to Klingon bachelor parties, you wimp.
But yeah, I guess the show, they wanted to have, like, the TNG crew be at the wedding, or at least at some of the parties, or just be around, but it was kind of an all or none kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And since most of them were busy and unable to, like, commit to the schedule, they could only get Frakes and Burton, because they're already on the lot all the time.
Right.
And they said, no, but we'd rather have at least more of them than 2.
Yeah.
Well, even if only one person was going to show up, it like kind of had to be Picard. You know what I mean?
Troy, maybe. What does Troy think of this?
Oh, I don't know. That makes me sad. I really did like them together.
I mean, Worf
I know
goes
I'm the
to
only
her
one.
wedding, so
True.
He what?
that he goes to her wedding.
Yeah.
Well, it's because he has honor.
That's true.
But yeah, no, it's like, the thing is, it doesn't, like, luckily because we know, like, yeah, there's this whole war on and all this other stuff, it doesn't belie belief. You know, you're not just like, because sometimes something like that happens in a show, like, where's this character that should totally be here? And you just know that, like, there's no real good in-universe reason. But here, you're just like, yeah, no, they're off in the God knows what sector dealing with fuckery. Like,
With God
And
knows
that's-
what.
And that's why all or none does make more sense, because
yeah, it
you
would have
wouldn't
been,
just have Frakes flying around being like, hey guys, I'm going to join up.
Yeah.
yeah, it
I
just
mean, it's also the
wouldn't,
middle of a war. So
Yeah.
they're
Yep.
presumably, you know, and they're in the Federation flagship, so presumably they're off
yeah,
doing war shit.
Doing a war.
yeah, and like, you know, they could have been well more than a week away.
Right. Yeah, the last minute change would have fucked everything.
Yeah, so it doesn't, it never felt strange that they weren't there. You're like, yeah, under other circumstances they would be, but it's obvious why they couldn't be this time.
Is it a little morbid that Jadzia's reason for moving the wedding up is that Alexander's going to be dead?
No, it doesn't say he's gonna be
Dead.
dead. She just says
I mean,
it could be
I
a
think
long
she
time till
does.
you see him.
We've met Alexander.
Alexander
He'd be
is going
dead.
to a ship. He's being transferred to a ship because most of the people that were on that ship died, and he's
Well-
the worst Klingon, so he's going to die.
I don't know. I don't think it necessarily follows.
I'm
I think
okay
that
with
was
it.
in her mind.
I mean, that's the thing. Is in reality, I mean, to an extent, what really it comes down to is they're in the middle of a war. Any of them could die, like, any time.
Yeah, that's true.
Realistically. Like, yes, because of the way the scene plays out, it does feel more like she's like, you know your son's not gonna live. But realistically, Worf could get killed in a skirmish. Jadzia's off commanding the Defiant sometimes. Like,
No, see, I really just thought all she meant by it was, like, he just might not be back out this way for a long time. Like, I see what you're saying, but it just I didn't think of it that way.
but yeah, no, it does
Do we
sort
ever
of
see
read
him
that
again?
way.
Nope, thank God. Maybe in
Oh,
Picard.
that's the thing. I like him. I like him. He won me over.
Yeah.
It's harder for me to, like, hate Alexander when he's, like, an adult person that actually understands that, like, his dad sucks.
I'm also, though, assuming that, I mean, this Klingon shit is not for him. You know, that he's gonna do as much as he can in the war, and if he survives the war, my guess is he's just gonna peace out on the whole being a Klingon thing and, you know, move back to Earth.
Or he winds up in a more sort of diplomatic role like future him was.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, and then Worf dies.
Yes.
Because of Alexander, the little
Mhm.
bitch.
Wow.
Due to his clumsiness.
Oh, did you guys catch there was a reference to a Captain Shelby?
Oh, is that supposed to be,
Here's the story. So they originally said, yeah, let's see that the Sutherland, which we've heard of before. I think that was the one that Data took command of.
maybe, yeah, that
before.
sounds right, actually.
But someone mentions, oh yeah, the captain is Captain Shelby, and who did such and such. And I guess the writers were like, yeah, it can be a reference to Shelby, whom we met before in Best of Both Worlds.
Yeah.
But it turns out that the show has an agreement with Pocket Books, who's made her a character in a bunch of their novel series.
I read.
Can't use her in the show because it'll go against all the stuff in the book. So because we don't see her, they decided it could be any Captain Shelby.
Yeah, it's not that unusual in name.
Not that one. No one knows.
I actually read a lot of that series.
Oh yeah, is she good?
Yeah.
She had potential.
I forget exactly what the series was subtitled, but it was basically about this sort of decent-sized-ish space empire we'd never really heard of collapses, and they'd been fairly isolationist. So, like, it's the first time the Federation is being allowed into this area of space. So it's about them just kind of exploring and noodling around and seeing what's what.
All right.
Yeah. But yeah, Shelby's the first officer in that series. And actually, Solar is the CMO.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, Solar.
I can't remember if they bring back any other TNG characters, but yeah, at the very least, those two popped up.
Well, I hate to lead us on, but do we have anything else to say about this one? Because if not, we should,
Oh, don't worry. I have almost nothing that I need to say about Resurrection at all.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. Because, boy. All right, so does that mean we don't have more to say about this, or?
Nah, none of this is important.
Yeah, no, it was, you know, it was good, it was fun, it was enjoyable. Like I said, I think it was very much meant to be sort of here's a bit of a release valve after 6 weeks of really intense shit.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, a little bit of a nice little cheeky palate cleanser.
And
Yeah.
now we never have to see Alexander again.
Ah, sad. All right, never thought I'd say it. So, then next, Resurrection. Oh, give me 1 second. I gotta prepare myself.
Caitlin is ready to enter the mirror universe.
Ugh.
Well, no, this time the Mirror Universe enters us.
In Soviet
Gross.
Russia.
God, in so many ways.
Ugh, 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 ugh. Ames, I would expect that kind of talk from me and Jake. Good one. Okay.
Gross.
All right, so Resurrection. Where to start? The very beginning. Okay. So it's just another day on Deep Space Nine, and someone's trying to get on board the ship, but they can't figure out where they're beaming from. And then all of a sudden, some fucking guy who looks a lot like Burial is on the bridge taking Kira hostage and wanting to get a ship and all this bullshit. So it turns out this is Mirror Universe Burial, and Kira, like, talks him out of stealing a ship and talks him into trying Bajoran religion and talks him into coming into her room to have Ractigino and fucking and, you know, trying to, I don't know, he's a hooker with a heart of gold. So she thinks, oh yes, you were a thief and now you are a good man and I love you because
Yeah.
I loved my
He
Burial.
looks like Burial, but he fucks like Shakar.
Gross, but without any of the fucking stupid, like, do you like me notes. God, fuck Shakar, what a horrible fucking thing. Like, Burial was bad enough, but Shakar was the fucking
Man.
worst.
She's got a type, that Kira.
Yeah, shitty guys.
And sometimes the same guy, but it's slightly different.
Yep, sometimes the same guy. So, turns out Burial isn't really there to get away from the mirror universe and enlighten himself and become a good boy. He's there to steal an orb, and with him is Intendant Kira.
Looking fine.
Oh, looking fine and wanting to fuck herself as usual, which is awesome. So, yeah, but he's obviously kind of having a crisis of, I don't know if it's faith or if, like, he just kind of likes that our universe or the universe that we live in is nicer, or the fact that he actually really kind of catches some feels for Kira, or all of the above.
He had an orb sighting.
He did see the orb, so he's getting to know the prophets.
And I don't just mean Kira's tits.
That was a good one. That's good. Ames is on fire today. So ultimately, he betrays Intendant Kira when they're supposed to be stealing the orb, and they go back to the mirror universe and live miserably ever after the end. Like, that's basically it. I mean, this is like a whole episode of, like, really nothing much. Oh, Quark is the one who's on to him trying to steal
Yeah.
it. He picks up on him, like, casing the joint, and luckily Kira listens to him and is like,
Go Quark.
So, yeah, so.
Knows a thief when he sees one.
Yeah.
And I guess, like, Intendant Kira gets a massage from a Bajoran security guard, and then
How did that
punches him.
massage look? I know you've been massage police, Caitlin.
have I? It looked fine. I thought the massage higher thing was stupid because it was already basically as high as it could go, and he didn't move his hands at all. So that I was just like, okay,
But apparently it wasn't very good based on what she said.
well, I mean, that was her. She was written to say that, wasn't she? To be fair. Yeah, it didn't look as bad as some of the others have looked. It looked like he was actually doing some work.
And I bet you mirror
Unlike
people just
Miles and his weird
like,
little feather touches.
Yeah.
Sorry, what'd you say, Ames? I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, people from the mirror universe probably want their massages to actually, like, break them.
Well, that's how I want mine. Does that mean I'm from the mirror universe?
Might be.
Cool.
You have a goatee?
Ames, how dare you? But, not as far as you know.
Right. So I must be fucking face blind because I did not even recognize Burial when Kira was like, oh, it's you! I'm like, who is it?
Me
Who is
either.
it?
I was like, why does she know him? And Chris is like, it's Burial. And I was like, oh.
So
Yeah, I guess it is.
I don't know if I would have because
Oh, yeah, you saw the...
so like ages ago when like his character cacked it, I think I was looking up his actor. And on his like Memory Alpha page, it mentioned we would see Mirror Burial at some point.
Oh, okay.
So I've been kind of waiting for this, and also the episode description, which Caitlin had not noticed, mentioned like, you know, that Mirror Universe Burial was going to show up. So like, I don't know if I might have gone, that guy's kind of, who the fuck is that? And then the credit would have popped up, and I would have gone, oh, okay.
Oh, right, that's right. You said, look at the credits, and I was like, oh, it's Burial?
Well, I don't know. It's I feel like the writers here gave way too much credit to the audience. It's like, hey, remember this minor character from several seasons ago?
God, who is so fucking boring and like I don't know, there's just nothing that interesting about him except the episode where he died, really.
Yeah.
And this one.
Yeah.
Let's give you the grubby version of him and see if you remember.
The grubby version of him at least isn't a stiff.
Oh, yeah, he was a little more fun.
Yeah, oh, much more. Goodness.
Yeah,
Like,
the scene where he steals Worf's sword and cuts the flan with it.
Ooh, that
Yeah.
looked tasty.
Yeah, that was fun.
Want some
Yeah, no, like,
flan.
I get wanting to fuck this Burial. Like, other Burial was pretty, but he was a stiff.
I noticed,
He's a priest.
Yeah.
to be fair, I noticed this time for the first time that he's got a little bit of like the Adam West about him.
In what way?
He's got something of Adam West around the eyes, but there's also kind of like a Adam West is Bruce Wayne delivery to a lot of his lines, I feel. It's more of a
picked up on
cadence
that.
thing. Huh?
Yeah. I don't know. I know what you mean.
We've established I don't do Batman, so.
I wasn't going to say Adam West, but like there's a performative kind of delivery style, I think.
Yeah. So, the thing that a lot of this suggests, and I don't remember if we ever talked about this before, but like, either the Mirror Universe doesn't have wormhole aliens,
I know.
or they have kept to themselves.
So Burial doesn't seem to know what the prophets are, what this is. Like, oh, you guys have a religion that's different from ours, it sounds like. That's funny. But they know what the orbs are, because they're there to steal an orb.
Oh, that's a good point. So how do they know about the orbs?
They might have just... Because they knew how to build a Defiant, so
They have records from...
They know what's going on.
That's the Resistance. Like, Miles has just been... Most of the time you see Miles on DS9, it's actually Mirror Miles. And he's been there just gathering information for the Resistance. But the fact that the KCA, the Klingon Cardassian Alliance of the Mirror Universe, also has this information. Maybe they're doing the same thing? Maybe every time you see Kira... flip a coin and it's sometimes intended Kira?
I imagine like they would have there's potential that they would have found out about the wormhole and the aliens. I also I think I might have mentioned this previously, but my guess is that in the Mirror Universe the Pa Wraiths are whatever so you have the Pa Wraiths, you have the Prophets, and they're both the same species or related.
Right.
And in our universe the Pa Wraiths got kicked out of the wormhole, and the Prophets live there, and the Pa Wraiths live in the fire caves.
Right.
And in the Mirror Universe, it was the Pa Wraiths that won, so they're living in the wormhole, and the Prophets are trapped in the water caves, the ice caves.
There we go.
All right, I'm into it.
Or like the war just totally obliterated the species.
Yeah.
Although you think that would have collapsed the wormhole, so no.
Which
It
wormhole?
could be. I mean, it could have.
No, because the wormhole exists in both. Because I forgot. Like at first, I was like, "Have we seen the mirror universe wormhole?" But we did, because the very first time they jumped, it was because of something going hooey in the wormhole.
You're right. Yep.
Okay.
So the wormhole does exist in both universes.
Something going hooey.
Like
There's also
Incredibly crisp things to say.
Because I also kind of feel like, with the nature of the wormhole and the wormhole aliens and stuff like that, there's also the possibility that they're transdimensional.
the wormhole
They
aliens?
exist in both universes.
And they're just like, we're not fucking with this one. This one sucks.
Yeah. It made me wonder, so when Barial has his orb experience, I don't quite, it's very unclear what the fuck orb experiences are. Are orbs just poop from the wormhole aliens that happen to have, memories?
It's, it depends on what day.
Yeah, but when he looks at it, what vision is he having? Is he having the vision for himself or from, this particular timeline's Barial?
That's a good question. Because he
But
talks
also-
about seeing them together, which is like what Barial saw.
But he also said he saw Vedic Barial, but he was him and I was me. No, I mean, I was him and he was me, and
1 + 2 + 1.
plus
But he
Chandelier.
also made the mistake of, the kind of thing you do when you tell someone what your wish was when you blow out a birthday cake. And
Yeah.
he tells Kira about it, so now it's not going to come true.
Yeah.
Well, it was also turns out it was mostly bullshit because he was just there to steal the orb in the first place.
Yeah, but I also think, I think it's reasonable that maybe one of the few things he wasn't lying about was that the orb experience definitely gave him pause.
Mm.
At the end of the day, he reverted to full mirror universe, but, well, not full, but he still was like, I can't work in this universe, but it definitely, fucked with his self-perception pretty badly.
I feel like if you're gonna go through the trouble of going to another universe to steal a magical orb, go for the orb of time. Go for one that has actual utility.
Well, this
Yeah.
one they know they have access to at DS9. The
Yeah.
Orb
Yeah,
of
they might not
Time-
be aware of the location of any other ones.
Yeah, I think we were bringing that to Bajor in Trials and Tribulations. Yeah, Trials and Tribulations.
Yeah, and I imagine after it was revealed how quite literal it was, that motherfucker is in a vault somewhere.
It's encased in cement.
Yeah, they basically reported back to Bajor, hey, guys, bad news. The orb broke. And now it's just, buried somewhere on Earth,
It's
waiting for some evil
it's in the,
admiral to exploit it.
It's
Like
in the
Jumanji.
same warehouse as the Ark of the Covenant.
Yep. Gonna retcon it.
Who's going to investigate this orb of time? Top men.
See, they're gonna retcon it. Some fucking admiral is gonna try to mess with it one day, and that's what actually caused the Kelvin timeline.
There you go.
Jesus.
It's that's why the black hole didn't crush Spock and Nero, and instead shot them into a different universe.
God, I am not looking forward to doing the Kelvin movies.
Yeah, at least there's only 3 of them.
True.
You mean 2?
Yeah, it's true.
I know we have to watch it.
I
That doesn't mean
know.
I have to like it.
No, I won't either.
So at least we'll all be equally unhappy for Into Darkness.
Yeah.
That's the best one of the 3.
Bullshit.
Okay, the opening 5 minutes is pretty
Please,
cool.
let's stop.
Yeah, sorry, we're off course.
So what did everybody think about all of Kira's stuff this episode? Because I can tell you, Nana didn't like it.
I didn't like it either.
It
Yeah,
seems like they
I-
put this episode in the wrong season.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
This would have been a good, rebounding off of Shakar type of thing. Especially, like I said, as I alluded to, she and Odo just had this talk, and they've already sort of talked about the fact that, she now sort of knows Odo is super in love with her, and, it just seems weird to be backtracking to a new, improved Barial. I don't know.
Yeah. And
I think it's
she's
weird
just out
timing.
of character because, Nana has stated, Kira is over Barial. He's dead. He's dead and buried and blown up in space. And also, would she get involved with somebody she just met?
Yeah.
Probably not.
I don't
At
know. I
least-
think it would depend what Bajoran religion says about random hookups. I'm not kidding. Seriously.
I mean, I can see her having a fuck buddy, but getting that into him seems a bit much.
And also, but Bajoran or not, I think Kira has this kind of issue with trust. Because she's lived a wretched life of, you need someone that you can trust, someone with whom you've had experiences before you let them get close to you.
Definitely.
Not, oh, look, I cut Worf's dessert with a knife.
It was pretty hot, though, you have to admit.
Yeah. Yeah, I also feel like they did Intendant Kira dirty.
Oh, yeah?
How so?
It was just such an anticlimax. Like, I'm just gonna stun her. Bye! Like, come on, give us a proper something.
Kira on Kira battle.
Oh my god, stop. But at the same time, please don't stop.
I did joke, how did Major Kira Miss Barial's The Intendant Was Here tramp stamp?
Oh, no.
You know she pegs him.
Oh, my.
I hope so.
I mean, I don't know why Intendant Kira... I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me that she was able to get onto DS9. Like, she just shows up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
the same way Barial did, with a little device?
I mean, she must have, right? But
yeah,
where did she beam to? She couldn't have beamed to the bridge because everybody would have seen her.
Well, didn't they say that someone was trying to beam on at the same time? Like, maybe she tried and succeeded and then just hid. But then he showed up, so that was enough of a distraction?
No, that was him showing up when someone was trying to beam in.
Oh, well, maybe maybe she beamed in at the same time somewhere else and they didn't notice because of the kerfuffle.
Maybe. But then, like, she's also, like, she didn't even think, like, maybe I should get out of costume. Maybe I should put on some different clothes so people think I'm Major Kira. Does it make sense that I'm wearing my fucking tinfoil hat crown? And, what the fuck?
Maybe that's why Odo isn't in this episode. Maybe she beamed to security and knocked him out.
Oh, hang on, remind me, because when Intendant Kira goes and gets that massage from that Bajoran security officer, what was she doing?
She was going to secure a transporter pad.
Oh, okay, got it.
Because the impression I'm under is that in order to do the jump, it has to be pad to pad.
Like I think you need to use that contraption to, like...
Yeah, like that contraption first had to beam them to the pad, which would then transport them to the mirror universe.
Cool. Yeah, because we didn't get to see a ton of Intendant Kira pretending to be Kira. We got that one tiny scene.
Yeah, one scene.
Yeah, and, like, what a fucking missed opportunity to have, you have an evil version of one of your characters that you can have going around doing nefarious shit, and yet they made it a fucking, romance story instead.
It just felt lazy. It was lazy. Like,
I mean, I think the thing is, we already have the answer as to why it couldn't be about that from Mirror Mirror. And that's the fact that Mirror Universe people suck at blending into our universe. They don't even try.
I don't know. Discovery might have disproved that.
True.
But that's not for many years.
It's actually funny, though, because in TOS, unless I'm mistaken, Spock actually comments on the fact that it was harder for the Mirror Universe people to blend in because it's harder for them to act good than it is for good guys to act like shitheads.
No, that's what I was saying, yeah.
Yeah, the Mirror folk were revealed, like, the second they transported in.
Yeah. But, of course, the difference here is that, I joke because, of course, this time they knew what they were doing. The Mirror Universe people the first time were just as confused as Kirk and company, like, so they didn't know they had to put on an act. Whereas, of course, Intendant Kira would. Although, having said that, she still couldn't really help herself. Because even just walking down the hall, she was, like, extra sultry.
That's just how she walks.
Yes, but it's not how the Major walks.
I liked it.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, it's great for the character. I mean, she can't help herself.
A major asshole.
Keep firing, assholes!
Yeah, it's like, I almost kind of like the revisiting that Barial was a person, because he was a very important person.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that they were saying, like, people will line up to get his autograph, like, I don't know if he was that big a celebrity, but, he was He was a very important character, and he was very important to Kira, and when he died, we just forgot about him. So reminding us that, yes, these were feelings Kira had is interesting. I kind of like that they did that. But, again, I wanted more of something.
Yeah, like, she should have had more conflict. She just kind of fell for him too quickly. I did like, though, the detail of, like, just as he's walking through the station, Bajoran's looking like, wait a minute, what the fuck? Because you got to figure the average schmo doesn't know about the mirror universe. Like,
that's an interesting
probably
point.
Something they try to keep quiet.
Oh,
I
yeah.
never thought of that.
So, like, they're just, especially the civilians, they're just like, what the fuck? Just saw Elvis.
Shouldn't he be dead?
Like, seriously, there's some, there's the Bajoran version of Art Bell on the radio there being like, Fennec Bryle's alive! Spotted on Deep Space Nine! Actually, he's dead, isn't he?
I don't know who that is, so I can't tell you.
He was like a talk radio conspiracy nut, Art Bell.
I'm
I
sorry.
think he passed away.
He sounds super cool.
I mean, for that matter, everyone could assume he's a changeling.
Yeah.
We know everyone knows about those at this point.
Well, and as well they should, honestly. I mean, I feel like that would be a huge security issue.
Yeah,
if
that's a
people
secret
didn't know
you
about
shouldn't
it.
keep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
That actually would have been funny. It's like, oh, yeah, it must be a change. Like, some people look in reverence and awe. Every, 15th person tackles him. He's like, give me your blood!
Y'all
They are Bajorans, and they do love violence.
Y'all are wild. Anything else about this lackluster piece of shit of an episode?
I'd say it was lacking in some regards, but I wouldn't call it.
Would you say it lacked luster?
Oh.
Yeah, it lacked luster, I guess, but I've seen worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By
I mean,
far.
there's definitely
Scene.
worse episodes. It's just it feels very much like filler.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, there was a cutscene I really wish they had kept, because it would have been the very, very, very top when Jadzia is trying to get Kira to bring a date to have dinner with them. But it would have been in Kira's quarters, where she just has a ton of Zial's paintings up, and she's just sitting there actively missing Zial.
That would have been nice.
That would have been much nicer.
Actually, that's funny, because I see, at one point you do see a painting on her wall when she's sitting there with Barile. And I was like, is that supposed to be one of Zial's? And I wasn't sure.
And here's the thing. If they reminded us, hey, remember how she suffered this loss recently?
Yeah.
It sort of makes more sense why she would be willing to, grasp onto this past love, because she's, fucking feeling so alone and so bereft.
Yeah, actually, with that in mind, her actions maybe do make a little more sense.
Yeah, so I think they missed a trick on that, especially if they had the goddamn trick ready and just decided not to use it.
Yeah, no, that would have made it a little more understandable, I think you're right. That she's just...
I'm hurting, I've had loss, I miss these people that I love, and then this person she loved shows up and is like, hey, girl. And she's like, oh, shit.
Yeah. Yeah, and and then she even had the talk with Cisco where he's like, it's not them, but
right.
sometimes it is.
Yeah, and I thought that was actually a nice moment. I'm glad you reminded me about that one, because that was nice.
Yeah. That reminds me, though, actually, you were saying that scene where they were talking. Am I just remembering that scene, or was there an earlier episode where Dax tried to fix up Kira with the transparent skull guy? Because I feel like this isn't the first time I've heard them talk about transparent skull aliens.
Maybe.
Transparent scullions.
Yeah, that's the thing. Girl talk with Kira and Dax is hilarious. It's way better than any girl talk Troy and Crusher had. Because that was just awkward and obviously.
Hey, don't your boobs feel firmer?
Oh, that fucking movie.
Tell us about this ghost you're fucking.
Oh, God, please
Well, his
don't.
name is Shakar.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I remember they were talking about how Dax had a little crush on Morn.
Oh, yeah, he's got those little hairs.
Yeah, it was cute.
Well, yeah, but who doesn't have a crush on Morn? I mean, she's only human, for Christ's sakes. Well, no,
True.
she's not human, but still, my point is... Damn it. My point stands.
Yes.
Yeah, it's also getting repetitive that everyone is meeting their lost lovers from the mirror universe, because, Cisco has that thing about Jennifer, and it's like, yeah. Is this going to happen every fucking time?
Yeah.
Is Quark gonna meet mirror
Hell?
Klingon lady.
Oh, Grilka.
Grilka, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was thinking of the Cardassian.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Natina.
her too. That would be all right. Well, why not both? Maybe he could have a mirror three-way. Am I right? I feel like the mirror universe folk are more into that kind of shit. If Intendant Kira is anything to judge by.
Oh, yeah, this is, well, at the very least, this is the third time they've mentioned Captain Baudet. I don't know, though, if she had previously tried to hook up Kira with him. But he has come up, and the fact that he has had a transparent skull has come up before.
Yuck.
Thank you, Memory Alpha.
Good job.
Also, having looked up that novel series, it was called New Frontier.
Okay, I've heard of that, yeah.
The captain from that, Mackenzie Calhoun, is still active as a character in Star Trek Online, where he is now the commander of Space Station Deep Space K7.
Hey, K7.
Yep. It's, I don't know if it's the same one, but there is a station still there with that name.
Well, I can't imagine it wouldn't be the same one.
Well, I mean, at this point, it'd be a
Space
couple
Station K7.
centuries old, like maybe build a new one. But that's neither here nor there. We're on DS9, not DSK7.
Well, speaking of space stations that we are currently on, thankfully we still have lots more, well, some more, Deep Space Nine to do. Next week we'll be talking about statistical probabilities and the magnificent Ferengi. Sure, that's going to be lots of fun and Ames will hate it.
I'm sure it'll be magnificent.
I don't know. It's apparently one of Jake's favorite episodes, so here's hoping.
Oh, shit. Well, who knows? Well,
It's a good one. It's fun.
fingers crossed. We'll see what
called
Ames...
it top 5.
Who
Top
did?
5
Jake did.
Ferengi episodes.
Oh, top 5 Ferengi episodes.
I don't
Well,
know if
fair
it's top
enough.
5, but I think it's pretty good.
Well,
I'm
we'll,
sure I'll love it.
We'll
Yeah,
see.
that's
We'll
true.
see. That's all. Yeah, that's definitely true.
There's delightfulness abound.
Oh, no.
but-
Maybe I will hate it.
Oh, see? What's the over-under? And who's taking the money? I got $5 on Ames
Quark.
hating it.
Quark is taking your money.
Oh, yeah. Good point. All right. Well, anyway, if you want to hear about those episodes next week and you want to make sure you don't miss it, you can subscribe to A Star to Steer Her By, where all fine podcasts are sold. We are on SoundCloud, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. You can also check out our Facebook page by searching for A Star to Steer Her By. You can find us at SSHB Podcast on Twitter and Tumblr, or you can visit our website at sshbpodcast.com. As always, this has been Caitlin.
This has been Jake.
This has been Chris.
I like how you forgot who you were for a second there.
So I got distracted by a notification on my computer. I
God.
apologize.
God. Well, I happen to remember that this has been Ames.
Ah.
All right, we'll see you next week. I feel like Quark said something that was quotable and I forgot to write it down.
There's no profit in jealousy.
There you go.
Ooh, that is a
There's
good
no
line.
profit in jealousy.
Nice.